Hey everyone, the video you're about to see is like halfway through because the initial memory card I was using to record it died and I couldn't get any of the footage back, so we'll have to start the video right after where I pulled all the diodes out of the record player because this video is about that Newcomb record player. This was supposed to be part 2, but it's starting out like this because the memory card failed and I lost all that footage. So here we go. Let's get started. Alright, because the memory card died, I gotta fill you back in with what I've done. I removed the 4 rectifier diodes here and getting ready to put in this contraption I made from a dead computer power supply. The full bridge rectifier I'm using is from the power supply, and I'm also using a Molex connector to give me extra lead length, since this record player was never intended for an integrated full bridge rectifier. And I'm putting one in there because it's what I got, and I do not have what diodes they used. And I don't have any easy way to order them, so might as well use what I have. I mean, it was free, and I did test it. It is good. And I might as well go over what my brother and I discovered on this, since all that footage was lost. So since I couldn't figure out, he decided to hook the power back up and figure out which components were getting hot. The reason why I didn't do that is because I didn't feel like burning my finger that day, but I guess he did. So he touched each diode and figured out which one was getting the hottest, so he removed it and it actually fell apart on us. I don't actually know where the bits and pieces are, but they're around here, and I don't feel like digging it up because it's not worth it. Because we're going to replace it with this full bridge rectifier. And yeah, not the way I wanted to start the video. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tin up these leads. Zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to tin up these leads on this connector so they'll actually solder up easy. So it'd be easy if I had like some type of vise or something to hold it. But I'm going to have to make do with what I got. Maybe I can. It's actually a pretty good idea. I just came up with taping it to this casing to hold the wires up. Do I feel like getting up and getting tape though? I mean, not really. You're still in frame. I don't see why I'd move. How am I gonna? Maybe I'm coming up with ideas here. I may edit this down. I may not. It depends on how I feel. There we go. Now I got the wire standing up. Maybe see what I learned in electronics class, how to tin wires. Oh, maybe it'd help if the soldering iron was plugged in. Hang on. Okay, the soldering iron should have some warmth. Should have some warmth in it. Now I let it warm up for a few minutes. Let's see here. Can you see what I'm doing? No, you cannot see what I'm doing. There we go. You should be able to see what I'm doing now. Okay, maybe the soldering iron doesn't have enough warmth in it. Oh well. Let it warm up a little longer. Also, doing stuff like this is a lot more enjoyable when you have music in the background. So yeah, if doing stuff with electronics bores you, try having some music in the background. It sometimes helps. Turn down the copyrighted music. This might be a little harder than I initially thought, mostly because I don't have any flux. I might have some flux. Let me see here, over here. Nope. Yeah, let me look for it. Turns out I don't have any. Figures, doesn't it? I can try to clean up these wires a little bit. Hopefully I can get them to go to the board too. The whole point of this was so I can adapt the full bridge rectifier to fit on this printed circuit board for this thing. Doesn't really matter how these... you're not even seeing what I'm doing, are you? Might not be able to see it from this angle. What I'm doing is trying to push... Okay, so it sits like this. Well, let me put in some thought here. I need to think. Zoom out. So what I was thinking, instead of trying to put the wires into these holes, since these are designed for components, and I also kind of roached them out, unfortunately, thinking of soldering the AC input wires to here, and like where the AC power comes in here. And then I was thinking of soldering the positive here and the negative over here, because if you look on the board, that's exactly where the maybe those are just ground points. Maybe I'm being stupid here. I'm gonna have to look at this a little more, but it looks like to me these are the DC inputs or DC outputs or whatever, and this right here is the AC input. I'm sure of that, because these two wires here come straight out of the motor, which is being used as a power transformer. After quickly discovering this wire takes solder terribly, I got it connected. It's attached. I just got to get the positive and negative in, and hope I don't screw this up, because this is the part I'm most worried about, because I don't want to put the rectifier in backwards and blow up this amplifier, because you can't find another one of these. You can't run down to the local Radio Shack and get the parts you need anymore. I mean, in your area there might be a local Radio Shack, but there's no local Radio Shacks in my area. I don't even know of any parts warehouses. So it's like we only got one shot at this. It's not like tube stuff. It's transistors. It's very, very sensitive. Alright, so I got the polarity correct. It was actually pretty easy. I just literally looked for the ground. And if you look at this big thick trace here, it goes straight towards the ground of the tone arm. So that makes me pretty confident that that's the right side. And that's actually our negative side. Another thing I really have to do now is do a smoke test and reconnect the tone arm, since that wire got broken while we were moving the board around. I don't know when that happened. I don't know if that happened a couple days ago or if that happened today. I looked back at previous footage, but it's all corrupted now, so won't worry about that too much. Alright, slight change of plan here. Tilt that down. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to test the voltage coming out of this first, before I actually like hook it up and call it good and all that. I want to make sure it's the 31 volts DC they're calling for. I'm actually going to move the camera so you can actually see what I'm doing. Alright, now that you can kind of see what I'm doing here, I got our ground here, the AC input's here. Might as well plug that in like that. Our positive wire is here. I'll have to tighten this down so that it's a secure connection. Here's our meter. Put that on DC volts, because I mean it's gonna be unfiltered, but it's still gonna be DC. I'll move the soldering iron out of the way if I can talk today. I'll move the soldering iron out of the way so I don't burn my multimeter leads. Already had that happen once or twice. This is the part I get a little, what's the word, anxious about. It's like, I'm pretty confident in my current skills, but it's also like, I don't want to cause a fire. You know what I mean? So I'm going to pull out the power. Oh, it's already going down. I don't need to. Okay, let me make sure nothing's touching. Spin that out of the way, move that. Double check everything. Looks like we should be okay. So, ready? Let's see if this full bridge rectifier expires. if you can. Hold on, let me tilt the camera. Smoke test. Well, nothing blew up. Of course, I'm not testing the voltage yet. But here we go. Now it's unfiltered DC, but we are getting close to what we want. So we'll unplug that and fingers crossed. So pause this and come back to you when the wire's reattached. Alright, our wires are reattached. Double check this here. Alright, now here's the actual smoke test. Ready? Well, hold on. I got a better idea first. Let me tighten this down a little bit so I'm sure nothing's shorting out. Because that's the last thing that's really the last thing I want. Can you tell I'm stalling a little bit because I'm worried? Alright, we are in. Now the moment we've been waiting for. Will it work? I do not hear anything. I heard something. It sounded like it came from... We might have life. Where's the volume? One of these has to be volume. Volume. Ooh. That's life. Of course, the volume control might be dirty. Well, that was something. Huh. Well, I guess I'll look into this a little bit more. Let me pause the camera. Guys, I figured it out. It's just a bad connection, and that's why it's pretty much falling out. It's a bad connection in this, which, I mean, I kind of expected that. Pushed it back in. See, if I touch the terminal, it'll come to life. There we go, we got life. So now I gotta get that connection going, get this connection reliable, and secure it, and put this all back together, and we'll be able to finally listen to some tunes through this thing. The owner will be very happy. Alright, we got that in tight. I'm gonna see if it works without having to wiggle it. Yep, that's working. Now I have to fasten it down somewhere and fix this. Reconnect this one little wire over here, see if I can get that on camera. Does this soldering iron have voltage potential? That's funky. Oh, I am recording. Actually, forgot I was recording. Well, that's reconnected, so whoops, there goes the camera. Alright, so I got myself a record here. Obviously, I can't play too much of this because it's copyrighted. Sure it'll work for a test though. Make sure the cord isn't rubbing against the record. I guess I better make sure speed is set right. There we go. Put that on. Alright, so we're plugged in. Turn it on.